You know what blows my mind? Companies are losing billions every year from customer churn. But here's the crazy part. It costs 7 times more to acquire a new customer than keep an existing one.
That's such a fascinating statistic. I've been looking into this lately, and what really surprised me was how just a tiny 5% boost in retention can increase profits by up to 95%.
Well, here's what makes that even more interesting. Most companies are still pouring their resources into acquisition instead of retention. It's like they're trying to fill up a bucket with a massive hole in the bottom.
Hmm, that's a perfect analogy. And you know what really drives me crazy? More than half of all customer churn can be traced back to poor onboarding in those first crucial months.
Right? And that's where the whole concept of time to value becomes absolutely critical. Companies basically have a 90-day window to prove their worth. The data shows that if you can nail that initial period with proper education and support, you can cut early churn almost in half.
So, what exactly makes for effective customer education? I imagine it's more complex than just creating a library of tutorial videos.
Oh, you're absolutely right about that. The most successful programs actually map different types of content to specific stages of the customer journey. Like during onboarding, you want very structured learning paths and interactive assessments. But once customers are more established, you shift to advanced feature training and community engagement.
That makes a lot of sense. I've seen some companies doing quarterly podcast reviews with their customers too, sharing best practices and success stories.
Yeah, and that approach can lead to some incredible results. I was just reading about a company that managed to slash their churn rate from 15% down to just 3% in less than a year by implementing that kind of continuous education strategy.
Well, that's a dramatic improvement. What other methods are companies using to keep customers engaged?
So, one of the most effective approaches I've seen is using multiple content formats. You might have video content for complex tasks, interactive in-app guidance for immediate help, live webinars for real-time Q&A, and these bite-sized learning modules they call microlearning for busy professionals.
That's really smart. Meeting customers where they are with the right format at the right time.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Companies are now using AI and predictive analytics to identify customers at risk of churning before they even show obvious signs of disengagement. The system picks up on subtle changes in behavior, like reduced login frequency or decreased feature usage.
Though I imagine there's a delicate balance between helpful personalization and making customers feel like they're being watched too closely.
You're right on the money there. The data shows that while AI driven outreach can reduce churn by up to 35%, companies need to be incredibly transparent about what data they're collecting and how they're using it. It's all about building trust.
Speaking of trust, I've seen some impressive numbers about the ROI of these education programs. Companies with formal programs are seeing something like a 7.6% boost in top line revenue, right?
Exactly. And customer lifetime value increases by about 35% per trained user. But what's really fascinating is the operational impact. Organizations are reporting a 16% reduction in support requests and a 15.5% decrease in overall support costs.
That makes sense. When customers can help themselves, everyone wins.
And you know what's really interesting about that? It creates this virtuous cycle where better educated customers become more confident, need less support, stay longer, and ultimately become brand advocates. The data shows that satisfied customers spend about 140% more than those with poor experiences.
Looking ahead, what trends do you see shaping the future of customer education?
Well, the big one is definitely the convergence of AI and customer experience automation. About 95% of customer education teams are planning to implement AI within the next year and a half. But what's really exciting is how this technology is being combined with community based learning.
That's fascinating. So it's not just about preventing problems anymore, it's about creating an entire ecosystem where customers can thrive.
Exactly. And the companies that get this right are seeing some incredible results. For example, customer communities have been shown to improve retention rates by 61%. When you combine that with AI-driven personalization and traditional educational content, you're creating this comprehensive support system that's really hard for competitors to replicate.
And I imagine that's becoming increasingly important in today's subscription based economy.
Oh, without a doubt. The subscription model has completely changed the game. It's no longer about making a one-time sale. It's about proving your value month after month, year after year. And that's why customer education isn't just a nice to have anymore. It's become a fundamental driver of business value.
That's really what it all comes down to, isn't it? Building sustainable, long term relationships with customers rather than just chasing new ones.
Precisely. And the numbers really tell the story. When you look at how 65% of a company's revenue typically comes from existing customers, it becomes clear that retention isn't just about preventing losses, it's about driving growth. The companies that understand this and invest in comprehensive customer education are the ones that are going to dominate their markets in the years ahead.